So for this Let's Talk Jinx, it'll be a little bit shorter because it's kind of the beginnings of a Jinx nerf that they're saying is a bug fix, and it's in light of MSI coming up on the 6th of May. In which case, in pro play, if you've not been keeping up, Jinx has been kind of a picked ban in certain regions. Now, in my opinion, as someone who's historically watched the pro play scene as well, it is a little bit more about it being a comfort pick for certain AD carry players on certain pro teams than it is about Jinx being like a super powerful pro play AD carry suddenly. But nonetheless, with MSI coming up, you know, the mid-season invitational, if Jinx is even possibly going to be on the permaban list, they want to do something there to kind of maybe curb that. And on top of that, it's not necessarily a direct nerf, like they're not reverting her range or anything like that. I'm about to open it right here in case you can't see it. And even if you can't see it, I'll still read it out for you. Jinx bug fix nerf. Rocket crits for 200% are going down to 175% to splash targets, meaning apparently Jinx, after her recent buffs, the AoE damage, as in if you hit a champion, the things around her, we're taking 200% crit in the AoE splash and was only supposed to be taking 175 to splash targets. Now yes, this is technically a damage nerf, so it is a nerf, but at the same time, it was never supposed to be that powerful, which might also lead into a bit of why Jinx was maybe being played a lot and picked a lot, even up in the pro play level, because yeah, her buffs were good, they were mainly quality of life stuff though, but if, you know, there's an extra 25% crit damage on splash targets with her rockets, which also now have longer range and stuff like that, then yeah, that might be a little bit of an issue and something worth nerfing, especially when it wasn't supposed to be a thing. Because yes, I'm not saying people can't be upset then to be like, oh hey, well I kind of like that actually, I like the extra 25% extra damage. This is going to be a damage nerf to AoE rockets and stuff like that, etc, etc. Don't get me wrong, you do you, but what I am saying is they could have targeted more, and they could have also targeted something that wasn't apparently a bug fix. So if this is, it was something that was never supposed to be, I'll take it. I'll take it without, you know, reverting, say, the range of the rocket, so that in laning phase, Jinx can bully some things a bit better than she used to be able to, and also to have a bit more control over how she gets out of lane, depending on how you manage her rockets, her mana, bullying enemy champions, and also CSing, right? That's my stance on it. I know it's not going to be everyone's stance on it, but I guess what I'm saying is we knew a nerf of some sort was coming for some reason or another. We all could feel it for a couple weeks now, especially in last week's video. People were kind of mentioning they feel it coming, something's going to happen. We dodged a bullet, we won't dodge that bullet forever. If this is that bullet, it's not that bad. Yeah, like I said, it's a little bit of damage, but it's not more. They're not like also making her slower. They're not saying, oh, she's carrying, technically, she's carrying a minigun and a rocket launcher. Her movement speed should actually be like 5 slower or something, right? Or again, like I said, they're not reverting the range, they're not taking damage off the minigun, they're not doing anything with the flame chompers or zap or anything like that, or they're not reverting the, or not really reverting, but nerfing the whole out smiting people with the AoE from the super mega death rocket, which even some of the pro players are like, hey, you know, I don't know if that's actually good, and the rest of us are like, hey, shut up. Deal with it. You don't even pick up this champion until a few, patches ago. You didn't even know who this champion was apparently up in pro play. You don't get to talk right now. Just let Jinx have it. Let us keep having the ability to outsmite the jungler when it comes to Baron steals and stuff. That stuff is fun. And also that's us. That's our thing now. Okay. Other AD carries, they have their things. That's an our thing. That's a thing back in season 5, and Wild Turtle was used to cross map snipe dragons and stuff like that. Let's just leave that one with us. You can have the 25% on the splash damage. It's not even 25%, by the way, on the main damage. It's just 25% on the splash damage, on the AoE damage. So if you're fighting someone in a one-on-one for some reason, you're just running them down with your rockets, the damage is also still going to be the same. So in that regard, you're losing no damage for that. It's just for AoE when people are clumped up and stuff like that, in which case you're probably still buying hurricanes and maybe items like that. And if you're not, maybe you'll go back to buying hurricanes to kind of counteract this, and then have like the damage kind of overlap thanks to hurricanes, and like then you'll be business as usual, and then nothing will really change. And in MSI, if you're someone that likes watching pro play because you like watching people play the champions you play particularly well, this will be something you might be able to look into, or would enjoy looking into, because Jinx might be picked, because she was even picked in Korea. So I mean, like, the teams that are going from different regions might be like, hey, even if Jinx isn't going to be like the meta AD carry, she can maybe be like a back pocket AD carry. So when they like ban, say, Jhin or Aphelios or Kai'Sa or Ezreal or something, we can just whip out the Jinx and it's no problem. Especially because Thresh, even though Thresh was getting a nerf last patch, and we talked about that in last week's video, he, when it comes to pro play, it's a different kind of beast because of how teams practice and how teams plan, right? So there is a world where, despite the nerf that Jinx is technically getting here, and despite the nerfs to Thresh last week, there are teams going to MSI where that's not maybe their go-to bot lane picks, but it is a strategy they can still whip out, because Jinx and Thresh with coordinated players is still a really good, like, aggressive lane regardless, right? You know what I mean? Or maybe you don't know what I mean, but my point is like that's part of why people sometimes ask for a difference in balancing between pro play and solo queue, because ultimately, no matter how close they try to make the game, there will always be differences like that, right? Like, for example, in your games, Jinx might have a high pick rate because she's being picked in pro play, but still not really banned all that much, while in the European final and in the North American final, Jinx was had a presence in just about all 10 of the 10 games played, because both series went to game 5, silver scrapes and all. So that being said, that's what this video is. I'm kind of rambling just because I want to give you guys like talking points if you want to jump in on the conversation in the comment section down below, but don't know what exactly you wish to talk about. What I'll try and do to conclude this video, however, is then pitch you guys a question. If this is the only nerf Jinx will be getting on the back of how powerful she ended up being off of her buffs, are you okay with this? Because we did talk about in last week's video what direction, not last week's video, I think it was actually 2 videos ago, if you were right, if you were in charge, you know, Mr. Riot Games himself came to you, was like, hey, Jinx is too powerful, you gotta nerf her, but here's your challenge, we want her to still be viable, we want her to still be playable, we want her to still be enjoyable, but she does have to get a significant nerf because she's on that perma-ban bench on pro play. How would you go about it? Some of you had different and interesting and creative answers, but if this is their answer instead, are you okay with it, right? Like I am mentioning, again, this is only 25% damage off of the splash target damage, not the main rockets. Like on single targets, if you're shooting a particular target, they're still taking the full damage. If there's enemies around them, they'll be taking less damage, but you know, you have enough AoE in your kit, the flame chompers can snare people, the super mega death rocket was untouched. Is this an okay direction for you? Do you think this is actually even better than maybe some of the ideas you guys came up with? Are you okay with that particularly? Do you wish they would have went with one of your ideas instead? And actually, even though this is a bug fix, you kind of hope would maybe go under the radar for either a little bit longer, if not forever. Those are all viable, respectable answers that you're allowed to answer. But that's going to be all from this video from me. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the outro subscribe button. Share this video around as well if you really enjoyed it and think there's other Jinx people that would be interested in watching this video or just being a part of the discussion over on the Jinx subreddit or League of Jinx. But I don't know which video will be next because life can have a lot of kinks. So until next time, take care. ggGetJinxed. Thank you for watching and enjoy pizza responsibly.